Hello and welcome to Outstanding English. My name is Todd Elprovitz. In this video, we're going to compare 4 different ways to talk about the future. We're going to talk about when to use going to, when to use will, when to use the present simple, and when to use the present continuous tense to talk about the future. First, let's talk about using going to. To use going to in the future simple tense, we have our subject, our be verb, am is are, going to, and then a base verb. So we have I am going to, you, we, they are going to, and he, she, it is going to. We can also make a contraction out of our subject and our be verb. So I am becomes I'm, you, we, they becomes your, we're, and their, and he, she, it becomes he's, she's, and its. Some examples are I am going to finish on time, we're going to cook dinner, and she's going to win. To create a negative sentence, we just put a not after our be verb. So I am not, you, we, they are not, or he, she, it is not. We can also take our be verb and not and create a contraction for are and is. So we have aren't or isn't. Or we can take our subject and our be verb as a contraction and then add not afterwards. So here are some examples. I'm not going to finish on time. We're not going to cook dinner, and she isn't going to win. We use going to in the future simple tense to talk about future plans that we intend to do, but we haven't made an arrangement to do yet. We often use time expressions when talking about these things. One example says, we're going to visit Europe. So we've probably talked about visiting Europe, but we haven't booked our flight or made our reservations at any hotels yet. Another time we use going to in the future is to talk about things we expect to happen based on what we see or what we know right now. So I might say, it's going to rain. I'm saying this using going to because maybe I look up at the sky and I see a bunch of dark clouds in the sky, so I can reasonably conclude that it's going to rain soon. Another time we use going to in the future simple tense is to talk about immediate future plans. One example is, I'm going to go to the supermarket. Do we need milk? This is something that you're going to do right away. Now let's talk about using will in the future simple tense. To create a positive sentence, we have our subject, will, and our base verb. So I, you, we, they, he, she, it will, or a contraction of our subject and will with apostrophe LL. So I'll study hard, she'll call later, or he will wait outside. To make a negative sentence, we just have not after will. We could have will not or a contraction won't, or our subject and will as a contraction with apostrophe LL followed by not. Some examples are, I will not study hard, she won't call later, and he'll not wait outside. We use will in the future simple tense to talk about things we are certain will happen. This example says, my cousin will graduate high school next week. We are certain it is going to happen because my cousin is in good standing, she's passing all of her classes, and she has enough credits to graduate, so she will graduate next week. Another time we use will is to talk about predictions based on knowledge and our opinions. This example says, people will live on Mars in the future. This is maybe my opinion because I watch a lot of sci-fi movies. We can use will with probably, certainly, and definitely to talk about how certain we are something is going to happen in the future. Now take a look at the word order here. If we are using a positive sentence, probably, certainly, or definitely comes after will, but if it's a negative sentence, then probably, certainly, and definitely comes before won't or will not. So 2 examples are, she'll definitely pass her driving test, and the students probably won't finish their project this week. We can also use will to talk about immediate decisions. These are decisions you make at the moment, probably when you are speaking. So you're on the phone, oh, she's in a meeting, I'll call back later. We can use will to talk about offers, promises, and warnings. So here are 3 examples. I'll drive you to your job interview. This is an offer. I won't tell anyone your secret. This is a promise. And don't run with scissors, you'll hurt yourself. This is a warning. We can use shall instead of will with the subjects I or we, but we often only use this when making a suggestion or making an offer. So this says, shall I make reservations for dinner? And we also use think or don't think before will when we're making a future simple tense sentence with will. So this says, I don't think we'll finish painting this room today. If you're like me, then you always overestimate how much painting you can finish in a single day. And my second example says, this party's too loud. I think I'll leave soon. We can also use the present simple tense to talk about some future situations, which I'll go over in just a moment. A quick recap on how to create present simple tense sentences. We have our subject and our verb or verb plus s, es, or ies if our subjects are he, she, it. So two examples are, I leave for Spain next week, and class ends at 7 o'clock. To make sentences negative, we have I, you, they don't and a base verb, or he, she, it doesn't and a base verb. So our examples are, I don't leave for Spain next week, I leave tomorrow, and class doesn't end at 7 o'clock. We use the present simple tense to talk about future situations when we're talking about things on a timetable, on a schedule, or on a calendar. So some examples are, fall semester ends on Friday, December 10th, our flight arrives in Denver at 10:25, and her birthday is on a Saturday next year. For all of these sentences, we could also use will. So we could say, fall semester will end on Friday, December 10th, our flight will arrive in Denver at 10:25, and her birthday will be on a Saturday next year. We use the present simple instead of will to talk about the future after the words and phrases as soon as, when, once, before, after, and until. So three examples are, she'll call back as soon as she gets home. She gets home is in the present simple tense. I'll take a nap when I finish cleaning. I finish cleaning is in the present simple tense. And he'll wait at the main entrance until we arrive. We arrive is in the present simple tense. We can also use the present continuous tense to talk about some future situations. As a quick recap, we have our subject and our be verb am is are and our verb plus ing. So two examples are, I am taking care of my niece this weekend and she is spending the holiday in Australia. To make these sentences negative, we have our subject, our be verb followed by not and a verb plus ing. So we have, I am not taking care of my niece this weekend and she isn't spending the holiday in Australia. We use the present continuous to talk about the future for things we have arranged to do. This is different from using going to because going to is for things you intend to do, while the present continuous can be used for things you have arranged to do in the future. These are often with a date or a time. So two examples are, I'm meeting an important client this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and we're flying to Alaska next week. We can also use the present continuous to give a reason why we can't do something in the future. I can't go fishing this weekend, I'm visiting my aunt. I can't work overtime tonight, I'm celebrating my son's birthday. Let's check our understanding. For these exercises, use the verbs in parentheses to complete the sentences in the future simple tense with will or going to. Pause this video as you do your work. Let's go over our answers together. Number 1 says, my brother will be 35 years old this summer. Number 2 says, we're going to travel to Europe on our honeymoon, but we haven't booked our flight tickets yet. You could also say, we are going to travel. Number 3 says, people will live in cities in space in the future. Number 4 says, I'll help you carry your groceries to your door. You could also say, I will help. And number 5 says, look at all this traffic. I'm going to be late for work. You could also say, I am going to be late for work. For these exercises, match the sentences with their meaning or the reason why they use that tense on the right. Pause this video as you do your work. Let's take a look at these together. When we say housing costs will go down next year, this is a prediction. For number 2, when we say Owen arrives at 2 p.m., this means his plane arrives at 2 p.m. Number 3 says, Amanda is taking her surfboard on the plane. We know the airline gave her permission. For number 4, it says, look, Barega's going to win a gold medal. We know that the race is in progress and he's far ahead of the other runners. Number 5 says, the semester ends on June 6th. We know it's on the school calendar. Thank you for joining me here at Outstanding English. If you liked today's content, hit that outstanding like button and don't forget to subscribe for updates. See you next time.